best. 2 eggs plus 1 egg for your cheese, your ricotta. Fresh mozzarella, ground beef, spinach, mixed mushroom, plastic wrap, ricotta cheese, I already said that. Salt, pepper, a pasta maker, fresh basil, big and small bowls, and a sheet pan, and also tomato paste. So what you see me doing here is making a well, and I added my semolina flour to the countertop, made a well, and added my eggs, and then added some salt, added my oil, and added a little bit of water. And you never know how much water you're going to need because in different climates, the flour that you buy or the semolina that you buy will be more moist or more dry. This one was particularly very, very dry, so I had to keep adding water, and you want to add it little by little. Start with a tiny bit, maybe 2 tablespoons, and then work from there. This semolina flour was very, very dry, and I'm in New Jersey, and surprisingly the mecca of Italian people, and I don't see that many people making fresh pasta here, which is kind of odd. With that being said, I hope somebody doesn't show up at my door to break my kneecaps. So anyway, I'm kneading the pasta here, and what you want to do is keep folding the pasta over itself. So you turn and you fold it onto itself, turn and fold it onto itself. And you want to keep on doing that for about 10 to 15 minutes until your pasta actually looks like bread dough. So when you crack it open, after you roll it into a ball, you'll see me open it and look at it, and it actually looks like bread. It'll look like you see right here, it looks like bread, and you'll know it's ready. And sometimes the flour will be, your dough will be very, very crumbly, but trust me, all you have to do is cover it, let it sit for 20 minutes and rest, and it'll come together. The moisture will draw into your semolina or into your flour, and it'll resemble pasta dough. It'll be nice. You just have to let it relax. So you let that sit, and while that's sitting, you can start on your sauce. So here I have some ground beef, and this is local ground beef that I got, and actually it was frozen, and I tried to thaw it out a little bit in the microwave, and you see the brown bits on the outside. I apologize for that. But you see how this ground beef just falls apart? It's not all clumpy because it's pure fresh ground beef, and it's local ground beef. No chemicals, no steroids, none of that stuff. No growth hormones. It's really good beef. As you can see, it just falls apart. So here I'm chopping 1 medium onion, adding that to the ground beef, and I added some squirts from a tube of the garlic tube and some salt and pepper. I'm adding my spices now, my oregano, my dry basil, and my fine herbs. A little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. And there is my can of San Marzano tomatoes. I like to buy the tomatoes whole and crush them up with my hand. It's just something that I like to do. It's a nice feeling between your fingers. Relieve stress. And it's just your preference. You can buy crushed tomatoes, you can buy pureed tomatoes, or you can buy them whole and crush them yourself like I just did there. And I added some sauce to the bottom of the pan that I'm going to be laying my lasagna in. Here I'm adding some tomato paste. I've just added a little bit more garlic powder. And onion powder, because I want to season every ingredient in layers. So I've seasoned my ground beef now, and I've added my tomatoes. I'm seasoning my tomatoes. So for everything that you add, and this is something that you can use in all of your cooking, not just this recipe, you want to layer your ingredients. Season everything that you add to an ingredient. You're going to see me later on seasoning my ricotta cheese as well. I don't season the mozzarella though. So here I'm going to be getting my cheese together. So I have some fresh parsley that I'm chopping. And a couple little basil leaves. That's all my plant wanted to give up. I had a little basil plant and I didn't have that many leaves on it, so I used those, and then I used some for garnish. Adding my ricotta. And salt and pepper. Guys, I know sometimes my videos are very hard to watch. I'm not a professional by any kind of means. I know sometimes it's like god awful, the audio and the video. Sometimes the camera's off. I'm not a professional. I don't pretend to be, but what I want to do is just bring my cooking skills to you so you can be more comfortable in your kitchen and just make some of these meals. This is just home cooking. It's not professional cooking. It's home cooking in your own home, being relaxed, making food from what you have in your pantry and your refrigerator, using local ingredients. I'm just trying to teach recipes, not be a professional artist, a film artist or anything like that. And so right now you see me adding something strange, oregano. Anytime I do a white sauce or anything white, like cheeses, like ricotta cheese, I always add a little bit of nutmeg to it, grind some fresh nutmeg in it. And you don't taste the nutmeg, but you do taste a nice, it just rounds the flavor out when you make a white sauce or when you're making some kind of cheese dish like this. So I have some fresh mozzarella that I'm grating here. And I had 2 containers of this, so that looks like a little bit, but I had another one that I grated also off camera. Now while I did all of this, my dough has been resting, so I'm going back to my dough now and I'm about to roll it out. So you want to get some all-purpose flour down on your countertop. And then you want to cut your dough into maybe 6 pieces, depending on how big your dough was. I use 2 cups of semolina flour to 2 eggs, maybe a tablespoon oil, and probably about 4 tablespoons water altogether. And I'm also putting some flour on the sheet pan that I'm going to use to lay my pasta on as I roll it out. So keep some flour nearby because you don't want your pasta to stick together, especially if you're not using it right away. Every time you put a layer of pasta down, put a little bit of flour on top of it before you put the next sheet of pasta on top of it. So what you want to do is you want to start on number 1 on your pasta maker and roll your pasta through one time and then fold it over and roll it over and roll it again. And then you want to turn it to the next dial, which is 2, and roll it out. And then you can keep on going up the dial 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I rolled this to about a 5. And it just depends on how thick you want your pasta. So really, I go by how it feels. Because actually some sheets I may roll to a 6. It just depends on how it rolls out, how the pasta rolls through the machine. It's not a complete science. So just go by feel and the thickness of how you want your pasta to be. So I repeated this process with all 6 pieces, and I covered each quadrant of pasta in between because you don't want your pasta to dry out. So keep it wrapped in a plastic wrap and cover it as you're rolling out the other pieces. Now here I have my mixed mushroom, and I've just added some garlic to that because I am a pescatarian. I don't eat meat, so I always make a seafood dish for myself or a vegetarian dish for myself. So here I'm making some spinach lasagna, spinach and mushroom lasagna for myself, and just a little teeny dish, teeny casserole dish, as you'll see. I've added some fresh, and this is also local spinach. So in here so far, I have my mixed mushroom, red onion, garlic. I just added salt and pepper and fresh spinach. And I'm going to season this the same way that I seasoned the ground meat. I'm adding my dry herbs now, oregano, dry basil, fine herbs, garlic powder, onion powder. And if you don't have these herbs separately, you can just use an Italian mix. I think they call it Italian seasoning. You can use some of that. If you have fresh basil, you can use fresh basil and dried herbs. You can really use whatever herbs you like in this dish. But definitely try to add some oregano and basil. So I have all my ingredients laid out here. I'm going to start layering my lasagna. And it's much easier to put the ricotta cheese on the pasta sheets as you have it laid out instead of trying to do it when it's in the pan, because it's so slippery and it's slipping and sliding and you're holding it and it's just a big mess. So the easiest way that I found to do it is just put the ricotta on it while it's still on the sheet. And even if you're using dry pasta, you can do this. Just hold a piece of dry pasta in your hand and spread the ricotta mixture on the pasta and then put it into your saucepan, into your casserole dish. So I've layered my pasta with the ricotta, some of the meat sauce that I made, mozzarella cheese. And here I have some beef short ribs that I had left over, and I chopped it up and added it to the lasagna. And these were beef short ribs that I cooked down in a red wine sauce. So they are packed with flavor. That can only make your lasagna more tasty. You can add sausage to your lasagna if you like. Like I said, I just cook with what I have on hand. And I had some fresh ground meat. I had some short ribs, so this is what I'm adding. You can add sausage to yours if you like. You can add whatever you want. You can even add seafood to the spinach lasagna, the spinach and mushroom. You can add some shrimp or scallop or even some smoked salmon. Just don't add too much salt to your mix there, because the smoked salmon is already salty. And I find it really handy just to use scissors when I'm cooking. I use scissors for everything. So what I did was just cut the pasta to size with my scissors, and it just makes it so much easier. There are my handy scissors again. And I apologize for these camera angles. I recorded this actually last year, quite some time ago. I've just been so busy in my business that I really haven't had time to upload videos that much. I have a couple of videos that I recorded last year and maybe some at the beginning of this year, and I just haven't had time to get to them. But now that we're all quarantined, I have plenty of time. I wouldn't say plenty of time, but I have more time. So now I'm working on all the videos that I had, trying to get these edited as best I can and uploaded in between everything else that I'm doing. So here I'm working on my lasagna with spinach and mushroom. I've added some tomato sauce. So what I did, I took the rest of the canned tomato and I seasoned it with some of the garlic and some herbs, salt and pepper. And I think I actually grated an onion in it. And I forgot to add the mozzarella cheese. So I'm going back now and adding the mozzarella in between the layers. I got distracted because someone was talking to me. So this is just a tiny little casserole that I made for myself. So what I'm doing here is just going around and tucking the edges down so the sauce won't bubble over in the oven. And I put both casseroles on a sheet pan in the oven. And I cook it on 365. You can cook it at 350 or 375 for about maybe 45 minutes. So what I'm doing here is just freezing my pot. I'm going to freeze my pasta, so I layer it in between parchment sheets and then just put it in a Ziploc bag. And you want to dust off any excess flour that's clinging onto your pasta because you don't want it to freeze with a lot of flour on it. And I just fold them over, put them in a Ziploc, and put them in a freezer. So now you have leftover fresh pasta for anything that you want. And you can even put it through the machine and make some spaghetti or fettuccine, because with this machine there comes a cutting blade for fettuccine and spaghetti as well. So here's the finished lasagna. This is the meat lasagna. I have some wheat bread loaves there and a salad that I made with some mixed greens, some pea shoots. I think I have some cheese on there, and it looks like some peppers. Here's a slice of the lasagna cut. And again, the lighting is not so great. I apologize for that, but like I said, I do my best. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you'll try and make some fresh pasta. Leave me a comment and let me know if you like the video or if you like the recipe. Please subscribe and hit the bell so you know when I'll upload a new video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all. Please stay safe. Keep your hands clean. Wear your face mask when you go outside. Protect yourself. And enjoy the rest of your quarantine week. Thanks for watching.